wasn't that different from you. The main difference was I was growing up in a gentler environment.
In Hawaii.
Right, in Hawaii. So, it, you know, the violence and drugs and some of the issues that the guys were dealing with day to day were different. But the mistakes I made, the struggles I was going through, were similar. And I think that it would have been useful for me at that time to have just a circle in which you can talk. And I think that, one of the things we all learned from the pandemic was that human connection matters, that we're not all by ourselves, and we don't accomplish most of the things we accomplish by ourselves. It requires a community. And I think particularly for boys and young men of color, many of whom grow up without fathers, but many of whom also live in relative isolation, where the communities, because of safety issues or economic issues, folks don't have as many resources around them. It becomes that much more critical to be able to have some place where you can come and just say, listen, I'm struggling with this, or, I'm confused about that, or, these are the kinds of pressures I'm dealing with, and have somebody who either is their peer or somebody older who can say, yeah, man, that's something that I went through also. I'm struggling with this too. This is something I'm confused about. And then being able to talk it through.
President Obama says he found his purpose and ambition in life through community service and eventually a career in politics. Becoming a father to daughters Sasha and Malia gave him the chance to be the kind of father he never had. James and Lazarus are now fathers as well.
We were talking before, the three of you guys were in the program, you were in the school, now you guys have moved on. Two of you are now fathers.
Yes, sir.
And both of you have daughters.
Yeah, proud.
So,
proud.
Anderson here, he's a new father. How old is Wyatt?
Just turned one.
Just turned one. So he's still in diaper changing mode. Other than changing diapers, how's that changed your perspective? And how do you think about it? Because look, meeting the president, that's cool, but it's not life changing in the same way that being a parent is.
Before having a daughter, I was able to make stupid decisions, but now that I have a daughter, I have to think about her. I have to think about her mother, her sister, because now I'm the man of the house, and everything that I do is pretty much revolved around her. So I want to be that father that's always there. I want to be the one that you come home from school to, that brightens up your day. Anything that you need, you can always come to me. I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have a father. It was one point in time I didn't see my father for 10 years.
Right.
So I want to be there for her through everything.
Fantastic. How about you, Patrick?
Being a father is amazing to me. My baby girl got a great big smile, full of energy, full of life, full of joy. I was fortunate to have my father and mother together. One thing Bam helped me out with was being able to speak on things, because I wasn't able to talk to my father because he was strictly business.
He was old school.
He old school all the way. I didn't understand that. I just wanted to talk to him, let him know, I need to talk to you. I seen so much that my dad didn't even know I saw. I think I was 7 when a grown man shot at me. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that you see daily. So much that you see daily, nonstop, that you as a man not supposed to feel. So with my daughter and my future children, I'm going to have a lot of children. I'm going to make sure the money is right to take care of all of that.
You better also check with Mama. She has something to do with it.
Sure. I'm going to definitely implement communication with my daughter, being able to open up and tell me how she feel,
BAM counselors often act not only as mentors, but also father figures to the young men in their group. They check in on their grades, their health, their safety. Christian Champagne says President Obama has checked in with him over the years since they met more than his own father has.
What's going on, man? You all right? Things all right? Okay, you finished strong like you were supposed to.
I know experience, excellence is possible, and I need to strive for that. Although sports are important to me, I focus on my GPA, and I will get it back to a 3.8.
What's your life been like since that meeting? You went to Morehouse.
Yeah, I went to Morehouse, well, for like a semester, and then I realized I couldn't pay for it, so I had to come back home and start over, go to Western, work through that, got a couple internships and landed a job that's a career job now. But before, I wasn't even really thinking about going to college, to be honest, because I was always worried about, could I pay for it? Would I be accepted? I think after the first visit you made here, I worked a little harder on my grades. I stopped playing around. I was like, maybe I could do something else. Maybe I could go to college.
When you sit in a circle like that, the obstacles these kids are facing and able to overcome is really extraordinary.
Yeah, no, the first time I sat down with these guys, the most important thing for me to communicate at that time, and I was the President of the United States, was you guys in many ways are ahead of me of where I was at your age. I just had certain advantages you guys don't. I could make a mistake and land on my feet.
But even, Christian, who's 25, his single mom, I think he had 5 or 6 brothers and sisters, family of 6. He got into Morehouse, had to drop out because of money, went to another school, had to drop out because he got ill. Now he's working, hoping to go back to school. It's not a question of not working hard enough or, being motivated enough.
And that is where sort of, for me, my personal journey intersected with, I think, this broader question of how are we setting up a society so that young men like that can succeed or not succeed? And that's what led me to the South Side of Chicago. That's what led me to be a community organizer, was that sense that, look, when I walk down the street of the South Side of Chicago, I see young people and they look and remind me of me or Michelle. And a combination of circumstance allowed us to succeed. But these kids are just as talented. They're just as smart. They could achieve just as much if we've got an education system, a social safety net, job opportunities that expose them and give them a chance. And I think that the single most important thing I learned as an organizer when I was here in Chicago was that the line between success or failure in this society so often is dictated not by anybody's inherent merits. It has to do with the circumstances in which they're in. That doesn't mean they don't have individual responsibility. I think all these young men, you heard them, they recognize, no, I've got to work hard, I've got to do my part. But it also means that we as a society continue to fail them.
But also how stacked the deck is against so many people in our society from even before they are born.
Yes.
I was reading in a speech you gave a while back, a figure I had never heard before, that by the age of 3, if you grow up in a low-income family, you've heard 30 million fewer words than a 3-year-old child in a well-off family.
Which means by the time you show up in first grade, you are already significantly behind. Now, the good news is, it turns out, as you're learning as a parent, kids are amazingly resilient, and they can catch up. But it also means that we have to make investments to ensure that they catch up.
Well, the other thing, I leave that room thinking, how many other kids are there who aren't even in that room?
No. Well, one of the things we really liked about this program becoming a man, was they didn't focus on the superstars, right? That they deliberately target not the kids who are either in the most trouble or are either most successful in defying the odds, but the kids who are right there, sort of in the middle, that can tip in either direction, that if they get an encouraging adult, if they are able to, as Lazarus was expressing there, if they can find words to tell their story and express themselves and talk out what they're feeling, they can succeed. And that's part of what I think made this conversation wonderful is, these kids aren't like sort of one in a million. This is, what you just heard was young black men all across this country. That's who they are.